Okay, so we're going to go back to the discussion on operations today with the Grande Pacific Railroad and using JMRI as the means to create the manifest in the movement of cars. Okay, now we've got our road engines and our 8 cars we need to set out. The 8 cars are listed right here on our manifest, and it tells us where they have to go. The first car in the back of the train is 22151. It's an SPLCL, less than carload car, and it's right there. So it's got to go to track 2. Okay? So we take the car, and in this case right here, because again, these are each one of these switch machines have a decoder on them. They're powered by a decoder, and this is all connected to a mini panel, which is all part of the NCE computer control systems on this railroad. We're not going into this and how it works. There's already a video in the NCE part of the YouTube channel. But all I have to do is go right here and push that button. That's track 2. It set this switch correctly, and it set this switch correctly, where we need to put the car. Now, a little tip here: whenever you're putting cars away, it's not okay. Everybody's first thing going to do, well, let's go put that car in a hole. No, you need to look and say, where's the next one go? It's the TP car. It goes track 3. And you can start moving now. I'm going to look at the FOB car. That's 51. It goes to track 2. So we have a 232. Okay? So, I kind of know what I got to do is making the moves and putting the cars away. Now, again, that's at 60 inches. I'm almost holding the camera directly even with my eyesight. Remember what I set up above? You see the little mile markers? If there's a mile marker, that's the location. It broke loose. See, it came on couple because it's sitting over a magnet. So I hit reverse, go back, and remember I said 232. So I got to clear the switch, clear the points. I go over here and I push. Interesting. 3, hit reverse. It straightened up number 2, and number 3 is open. And we're going to push back here. Go over the magnet, pull it up, and it left it. Now, if you got a bunch of cars sitting in front of this, it may be hard to see all the rail things. I look underneath cars and stuff. But the push pin right up there underneath that green car also gives me the spot of where the magnet is. Okay? Love them Katie magnets. Saves you from touching cars or pick sticks. So here we go. We're going to go back here. We're after the FOB car now. It's 232, so we're going back to 2. I'll push 2 again, and it is there. But before we move back, where does 92, SP92 go? It goes to 1. Because just by chance it goes to 2, we want to leave it there. Every now and then you get lucky, and you get to put more than one car in one place. So we put this one on 2. Okay, we leave the car there. Okay, and we come forward. Now this has got to go all the way to 1s. It's got to clear that point. So we're going to push 1. Before we push it back, we're going to go look at IC 210. And IC 210 goes to 1. So bingo, we just got lucky. Okay? So the SP92 goes to 1, the IC 310 goes to 1. So the next car the pellet car S goes to 2. That car goes to 2. So you got the drift now. We're going to back up. We'll do these 2 more cars into 1. And like I said, sometimes the little things don't work quite the way you would love to see them all work, but a little touch and they come loose. Now, we've dropped those cars off. We're going to go, that one's got to go to 2, but we're going to stop here and just to make this point. I don't know if you can catch it on the video, but the front track is, of course, the main line, branch line. It's ballast in black, which represents cinders in Colorado. That's on standard railroad cork. It's cork sitting on top of plywood, and then the track's on it. Then I used the roll cork from Hobby Lobby, which is the thinner cork, very thin, to make a height difference, and your colors change. Different color ballast, you know. We must have had some cheap rocks laying around out there in Colorado somewhere. They busted up some rocks. But it's just a way to distinguish everything, the 3-yard tracks and so forth. Okay, so we're going to put the train back together. Remember, we have these 3 cars down here that we had to pick up. They're sitting there. As soon as we put the cars away, we're going to come get these 3 cars, go up there and put them in our train, which is sitting on the main at West Summit. And we're going to put those up there, and then we'll take off over there through the Rawlins Tunnel. All right, so our train's coming back. You picked up 3 cars, and here comes our road engines, and they're going to take the cutoff track who goes up here. Now, remember I told you I put this whole section in flat, and I figured out, hey, can't see your train, so we had to come up with a way to get back to the main, so we had to put this cutoff track in. People, it's, you know, pretty good grade, but the situation here is it's climbing 2.5 inches. It's very short grade, so it doesn't really cause a problem. So trains up here, we need to get the cars. Now, the back 2 cars, we can just back it into, we can just put them right onto the front end of the train. And that'll take care of where they got to go in the train, because they're going on. Okay, I'm going to go the other way, the other forward. Now, we're going to do that, but the Santa Fe car is going into the yard at Junction, so we're going to have to set that out, run the train past it, and then come back and pick it up. Again, don't have magnets on the main. Pick stick would probably work better, but again, limited hands here. So I'm going to take this and set it on this siding, which all I have to do in this case is go over here and push this button. And I'll leave this car here. While we run back, and this is the depot track at West Summit. We'll leave this car here, and we'll go pull the train past it, and we'll pick it up where it needs to be put at the end of the train. It actually can be added right by the front car, and we get some rhyme and reason here, 3 in the green, and that means all 3 of those switches are lined up. So, like I said, when you're standing, I'm also standing on a little platform here. This is 6 inches, well, yeah, 6 inches higher thing. So now we can start forward, headed out over the bridge in the Colorado River and up towards the tunnel. But we still got to pick up this one car. Now, what I'm doing is blocking the train out, so when I get to the division point, we only have 3 cars to put in the yard. The rest are going to go on to the ready truck. The trains are going to go into what the program calls a staging track. If you're playing the railroad game, it's going to switch crews, and the next crew will take over and take it on. In our case, it's going into staging and to be used to go the other way. The computer will take these cars and use them again and shuffle it all around, and they'll be reused for a train going, train 100. This is 101, so it's opposite train going the other way is train 100. And it will pick something different to happen with the cars. You won't see the cars going the same place. It's not going to happen. Something else will go on. So now we need to get our Fred. And that's the beauty part of the computer program. It's constantly, randomly picking cars. Okay, so now we've got our train put together. Everything is assembled. And we're going to head on out, up over the Continental Divide. And off into Never Never Land. Okay, so we'll go pick up, we'll make a quick trip around the end of the mountain, and we'll catch the train on the other side of the mountain. The train comes busting out the mountain, smoke and all that. I'm sure you saw the smoke coming from the engines. Okay. All right, and come to the unfinished, undecorated part. And of course, we got to hit the dynamic braking. Uh-oh, no sound. Okay, and we come up here to the Rawlins Branch Junction switch, past the lumber mill, and into tunnel 8 or 9, I guess, somewhere up there. I don't know. So then up into the Rocky Flatirons, the Flatiron section. The train main line is on the outside. Okay. This is the road and the bridge that goes off to Leadville. And the tracks that used to service Leadville are, you know, that engine's been sitting here now for 10 years. Some kids came along one night and stole a motor out of it. It's an Athearn dummy with plastic wheels. Okay, you don't have to worry about it shorting the track out. And a friend of mine, Rod Fredericks, built that crossover. HON3 and HO. Okay, so our train went on down through Rocky Loop here and across the Doe River Bridge. Right here where the trestle crosses, and I'm standing underneath it. That's 80 inches. It's 80 inches off the floor. That's 28 inches, and that's where we're headed. Now, the switches are all set right. We're coming down right here. We have to go through the tunnel there. We're going right past the platform right here. And the switch is set right because there's a big siding. You cannot see it that leads into the double track around Rocky Loop. That's almost like the switch into Tehachapi Loop. It's right There. Okay? So, a little train comes down here, goes through Eagle Pass, which makes for an interesting thing because it's westbound Eagle Pass as opposed to eastbound. We're not going to get into that discussion. So anyway, our little train comes down here. This is our local engines. Put them over here. If you watch, and I'm gonna stop here just for a second. Train, I'm stopped it. But if you watch the videos for some of the construction when none of this was finished, this track these engines are sitting on, I added. We put in this switch with the ground throw on it. It comes through here, and this is here just to have a place for me to park engines. I got to put a kill switch on the track, but let me give you an idea. This is the tunnel, and those are the tracks back around the loop back there. So the track comes here and it ends. The only reason it's there is just to have a place to store things. Now, it could be an interchange track. That could be a branch line for somebody else's railroad, and you could have cars sit here for interchange. And the Rawlins branch local could come work this. So there's an option. You can use a piece of track for anything. But we have a seam with 2 tunnels, and the tunnel here in the front by the tower goes nowhere. So we're going to extend the train. You can just see the Fred over there flashing. We're going to send the train on down. Now the train's going to go all the way back down here to where I told you the railroad starts, where the west is. Okay, I'm sorry, where the east is, because we're on the inside of the helix. Can only go all the way to the bottom. And he'll end up where it says east. But we'll get over to the junction yard on the east track. But remember, I keep telling you, this is where the railroad starts, right here. Be back in a minute. We're not going to sit here and wait for this thing to make the 9.5 turns down the helix. So we're on the last turn now at the bottom of the helix. Okay, and I'm getting a little notice here in the screen. I hope we can get this down here past this. And so our train comes out, and it's going to go over here into the main line running between Golden. You have to close your eyes and just think you're headed west. Okay, and it's headed to Junction. Okay, we'll let it go at that. Okay, so we've come on down here, and we, like I said, come through the switch. This is the main line, or the track that's treated as the main at the bottom. So it's always open to get cars, trains back and forth from their staging locations. So our little train here, 101 now, comes past UPT, Union Passenger Terminal. We have the Amtrak train in there. We have 2 Zephyrs in there. We have the Salida train. We also have the Sunset Limiteds in there, and the Golden State. Now, those run as needed. They don't, drop and pick off any cars and so forth. I have things that just show the towns. You can work those into your schedule at a time. Now the train comes around here and it's officially gotten to Junction. This is Junction Yard. Now, in model railroading, at the end of a railroad thing, you can have a staging yard that's stub in, whatever you need to do. This one has a loop, and it goes through the wall. Okay? And I'm going to stop the train. It goes, train goes through the wall, and it comes out the other side. And this is the latest edition right here. This is, like I pointed out before in the other video, this is another staging yard. All the coal trains, the intermodal train, the fun run train. Yeah, I've got two trains back there. Somebody wants to come over and run a train around the railroad, we let them run those, because you can't move the cars. I gotta tell you, for those people who just normally play with trains and stuff, that is the one thing about this that you kind of got to get dedicated to. You can't move the cars around. The computer's got to move the cars. So, anyway, our train comes around here, and this makes a this 36-inch loop, and it comes around, and it goes over a creek, reappears on the front end of the scenery here, and I'm going to stop it. And our train comes on down here. And like I said, the first 4 tracks are yard tracks. Now, I cheated. Those are the longest spurs that you ever saw in your life. I call them in the system a spur. Once you fool with the program, you'll understand. If it was a yard track, the loads wouldn't flip. Making them spurs, when I put a car in there and terminate the train, then the loads flip. All right, so I pull the train down here, and the 2 trains back there with engines on them, those are the 2 stage trains that are here. So I know I see the little tags down there. I know you can't see them, but it's track 1, track 2, track 3. Those are the staging tracks. So we're going to fill up all 3 of the staging tracks when we terminate this train. I have to open up a switch down at the end down there. Okay, let me see. Select accessory. Okay. 2. Yeah, the switch down at the end of this ladder down there that takes me back out on that track we came in on, because I need to get to where I clear the tracks right here. All right. Now, we know, because we went to all the trouble to block this train out, that our 3 cars that we need to put in this yard are right here on the end of this train. Okay, the grain, the two grain hoppers, and the well, I don't know what kind of hopper car the Golden West car is, but those 3 cars have to go in that yard. So we go over here, and we tell. And I must say something here. If you look at this, well, we have to go. I'm sorry. We have to go to the next page, the last page. The whole thing was actually 3 pages long. So, schedule work, code Junction. And you do have to abbreviate stuff to make it work right, because you don't have all the little space in a world in a program to use, so you abbreviate anything. So JUN is Junction Industrial Yard. And those are the 3 cars, and it tells me that they, the hopper goes on 1, the 2 grain cars go on track 4, which that would be the only place they could go, because grain cars can only go on track 4. That's the way the whole thing's set up. It's a system of exclusion. Because when I build a train going out of here, and that's what I'm going to have to do, run both the grain trains from each end, and next thing I need to do, as I talked about earlier. So I'm going to, these 2 grain cars and the hopper car, the blue hopper Golden West car goes on track 1. So all I have to do is drop off our Fred car on the end, go forward, and of course, you know, a little closer thing when you're running up there at the top, you could have put the 2 grain cars together. A railroad crew would have known this. And if you did this, ran this enough times, you would have known it too. Select accessory 177 and a 2. And we're back up. You would have put the 2 grain cars together, because they would have known they both went on track 4 before they ever got here. Now we got a magnet right there, and we'll see if we can get it to all work real good. Okay, it worked fine. So we hit the button again, and then again, the switch closed, and we got to come down here to select accessory 180, enter 2. And 180 opened up. Going to go through the whole thing, so we're putting this in now, and I will also now explain to you why we're putting these 3 cars in here. Well, a couple things. It created a one of the reasons I built that addition and created a yard in the front here, so it really wasn't here before, was it gives me a place to build trains out of, turns, or other trains that we want to make up randomly. Oops, went the wrong way. It gave it a thing. But these 3 cars being dropped off out of this train cuts this train back to 900 feet long. So when it leaves the next time and it goes across the railroad, there's room in the train to add cars, and or drop cars out, whatever. And that was a problem for me. It was a problem for the program, actually. You had to have wiggle room. So we built wiggle room into our program by shortening down trains when they left. It came back close to 1,300 feet long. Let's see, when it left the last stop, I can tell you. You know, we are minus a car that's broken, but it was only 1,031 feet. That's why we only had to put 3 cars in the yard. So close that switch. Now we're going to go back, and we're going to get our Fred car. Which is sitting out here. Remember, where the train is right now is a big loop, and it's pulling back out onto that main track that takes you back up towards the Helix. We turn all the trains around and back them in and ready to go forward, which just makes it easier. This is a stub-in yard, and really don't want, when we're operating, we really don't want people having to go through trouble to turn things around and do all of that. Now it's coming up on the switch for track 2. It just cleared the points. That's switch 6543. Select accessory 173, enter 2. It opened up. Now wait a minute. Let's make sure. Okay, it didn't. Now it is. And we hit reverse. And our train is now backing up into track 2. And it's waiting for its next crew to take it further west. And that's the end of the story as far as we are concerned as the engineer operating this train. In reality, what we're doing is we're putting this away so the next time the computer grabs this string of cars, it'll be here for something to use. Now, the next train I run, if I would have run 100, this was 101, the computer's not going to pick it. It's going to pick one of those other two. That's the thing. So now all these tracks here are kill tracks. If you can see the light on the engine still on. When I throw the switch, it's a tortoise machine. I use one switch on the tortoise machine to power the track. So close the switch, the light on the engine just went out. Those engines all sitting back there are dead. Everything sitting in the engine storage facility, which primarily is all the steam engine, everything back there's dead. You have to open this switch 184 to power up that area back there. Okay, so there it is. We're going to call this a wrap. Okay, on this, because we need to cut it off. The train's been put to bed. This is running a manifest freight on the Grande Pacific Model Railroad. The next thing we're going to come back and do, it'll be the next video, we'll pull the grain and ethanol cars and we'll run the grain and ethanol train. Which will get a lot shorter because we're not going to get into showing you all the moves. I think everybody gets the drift about coupling on, coupling moves. You know, for me to run that train right there and do all the moves, it's a good, you know, if you're playing during a session, that could be 2 and 2.5 hours. Because you're going to get stuck sitting somewhere in a siding for a little while somebody does something. But that's the real railroad too. All right, so here we go, and thanks for watching, and we'll get us another part of this done. Ask questions, post them either on the Facebook channel or, you know, Facebook group there for the Grande Pacific group or page, and or on the YouTube. On this one, you can make comments on the YouTube video.